everybody, welcome to episode 36 of the Inspired Knitting Podcast. I am your host, Bobby, and I am coming to you from New Brunswick, Canada. Today is Thursday, August the 30th, 2018. I would first like to start off by welcoming any new viewers who may be tuning in for the very first time. Welcome. And to returning viewers, welcome back. This is a podcast mostly about my knitting adventures, and there's a little bit of crocheting and sewing and whatever else fun I get into. So yeah, that's your kind of thing. This is your podcast. If you like the podcast, do hit the subscribe button below, like the video, and also you can click the bell icon for notifications when a new podcast comes out. So first off, how about we get the administration out of the way? There ain't much. So I'm just going to let you know where you can find me. You can find me on Ravelry as X Country Girl 1986X. You can also find a group for the podcast over there as well. It's Inspired Knitting Podcast. And you can find me on Instagram as Inspired Knitting Podcast as well. So that's where you can find me on social media. So I am not going to do too much talking this week because most of my episodes I have to keep near an hour because I do it on my phone. And this week I'm doing it without my tripod because we moved. We moved back closer to town for various reasons. So that's kind of why I have been absent for 5 weeks now, I think it's been since I last podcasted. But yeah, it's been an amazing summer, but we moved again a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's been really, really hectic around here. So haven't had much time to podcast or really knit as much as I would have liked to, but that's okay. It's all good. But anyways, my tripod is here, but I'm just not 100% sure as to where it might be. It might be on that shelf, but it's on a higher shelf I can't get to. So that's okay. I improvised. So anyways, there's not going to be any talk. There's just going to be a lot of knitting because I have a ton to show you guys. So yes, this episode is all about the finished objects because I have a few of them to share with you. So we'll get right into it. The first thing I have to share with you, I do believe I shared them with you on the last podcast as a work in progress. I'm just getting my sock blockers set up here. So I'm just going to quickly put them on. I should have done this before I started the video, but I was not thinking. So just let me quickly do this here. Okay. There's one. And two. Okay. So the last time I podcasted, I do believe this was a work in progress. Well, now they are a finished object. They are my vanilla socks that I was doing. So this is the wool that I had gotten in PEI. And I so love it. It's so beautiful. Just love how that worked out. So again, I mention this all the time, but this color is not bright green like that. It's actually like a teal color. So my phone, again, does not like that color, so it makes everything look green, but it is not. I just want to note that in case you are a new viewer and thinking it's that bright green. It isn't. But regardless, so the yarn that I used was H&W Germany, which is Comfort Sock and Wool. And it is 75% superwash, 25% polyamide, and I believe the colorway number would be 624. So there's the numbers. Now when I inputted this into Ravelry, it came up as 2/16 year anniversary. So I presume that's what the colorway would be called. So yeah, it's just these beautiful beige, like taupey colors. It's got some whites and black speckles, and then we got this gorgeous teal color. So yeah, I really love this stuff. It's super, super nice. So again, here they are. I used 56 stitch count on my 2mm needles, and I just did like a 2x2 ribbing. And then for the heel and the toe, I actually used Kay Jones' Dandelion sock pattern, and I did her garter stitch heel, which is a short row heel. First time I've done either. And I did her umbrella toe as well, which I thoroughly enjoyed doing both of them. So I do not know how the garter stitch heel is going to fit. I have not put these on just because I didn't want to wreck them. And quite honestly, I don't know if they're going to be for me. They might be a gift. I don't know yet. But I really, really enjoyed them. For the cuffs, heels, and toes, I just used some Knit Pick stroll fingering that I had around. I don't remember the colorway, but it's just this beautiful heathered taupe color. So yes, so love these socks. They turned out so, so nice. Love them. So that is my first finished object. Okay, and the second one that I have to share with you guys is another new cast on. Now, I don't believe I shared this one at all. This was a new cast on. So this is the Gramps Cardi, and this one is by Tincanknits. There is another Gramps Cardi by Kate Oates, I believe, but this is the one by Tincanknits. And here's what I did. So I never got to wash this one. I just gave it like a block. I used the blocking spray, but I might actually wash it. I'm not sure yet. But anyways, that's what I come up with. Super, super cute. I love it. It's just a basic top-down cardi, raglan increases, beautiful shawl collar on it. I just love the shawl color. It's so beautiful. So yeah, super cute. I ended up putting 3 little buttons on it. You can see they have that cute little design. And yeah, so this was a thoroughly enjoyable knit. I think it only took me like maybe 2-3 days at the most to knit it. It was super, super cute and super quick. And if I remember correctly, I might have ended the body slightly shorter. I can't remember now. I did the 0 to 3 month size. I might have done the full length. I can't quite remember. So the yarn that I'm using for this one, my notes are over here, so I'm referring to them. I used my 3.5mm needles for the ribbing part and the collar, and a 3.75mm for the body. And I used the Surdar Snuggly, which is a DK weight yarn. And the yellow, I used shade number 0252. And that was my yellow. And then for the body of the sweater, I used the Surdar Snuggly Crofter, which is the Baby Fair Isle Effect DK. And this one here is in shade 0149. So there you go. So I used those two together. I thought they were super adorable, and they were. Now, these balls are 50 grams each, and it is 55% nylon, 45% acrylic, and they have 179 yards per ball. I used a whole one, and I'm going to say maybe half of a second ball. And then I didn't even use a whole ball of this for the ribbing and the shawl collar. So that's pretty good. So, yep. Really love this yarn. It is super, super soft. I really, really enjoy that yarn. So anyways, that's the Cardi. Gramps Cardi. Tincanknits. Love them. Love the pattern. I never modified anything. I just followed the pattern, and yeah, like I said, it only took me like 2-3 days to knit. Something I've definitely been doing this past summer is wanting knits that are mindless, and this was one of them. So really, really enjoyed that. So the next thing that I have to share with you is a hat. So Trysten Molina of Dragon Horde Yarns, she came out with a new hat pattern. I'm gonna say maybe a month ago, because I think she released it July 1st. And I fell in love with it. It had beautiful cables and baubles, and oh my gosh, it was beautiful. I might have already showed you the work in progress for it on the last podcast, if I remember correctly. Well, I finished it, and here it is. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? Oh my gosh. I so love this hat. I don't think I can part with this one. I just love it too much. So yeah, it is super soft and super squishy. I don't know. I will put it on. I don't like myself in hats, but for you guys, I will do it. So there it is. It's super beautiful. I just love it. It's perfect size as well. I don't remember what size that I did in this hat, just because that was a month ago and I have a very bad memory. But I might have done the smaller size. I believe there's 2 sizes. There's a medium and a large, and I believe I did the medium. But for this one, it is double-stranded, I believe. So you're using, I think it's a fingering or a DK held double with mohair. So what I used was the Garn Studio by Drops, and I used their Kid Silk mohair base. And I used that in shade number 12, which is beige. And then I double-stranded it with Drops Extra Fine Merino. And that one was color shade number 07. And yes, it is very beautiful. It was my first time using either of these yarns, and I really enjoyed it. So I would definitely like to get some more. Really love it. And you can really see the haze there on the side of the hat. I just love that. So pretty. Not hard at all to do. It's got these beautiful twisted rib, that beautiful cable, and these baubles. Oh my gosh. The only thing I did differently with this hat was up here at the crown, she has some baubles. I did not do those. It looks super cute with them, but I just didn't want to fiddle around with doing baubles on my DPN needles. So I kind of cheated and took them out. But it's fine. I still love it. So yeah, I think this is going to be super warm this winter. So yeah. That again is Hyde Park by Trysten Molina. So yes, highly recommend you go check that out. So there is that one, and I have 3 more finished objects. So I have another pair of socks to share with you, and I'm just going to put them back on the sock blockers just so it's easier to share with you. So I'm super excited about these ones as well. This is a new cast on. So just a little story first. I've had this ball of yarn around for, I'm going to say 4 years, because I remember when I first moved to Moncton into my own apartment, there's a yarn store that's like a couple blocks up the road, and I'd never been into a yarn store before, and I wanted to go. So I did, and I vividly remember buying this skein of yarn. And at the time I was knitting it, I knitted a pair of socks, a pair of Roger socks. I can't remember who makes the Roger socks now, but anyways, I believe it is a free pattern here on Ravelry. Anyways, I did the first sock and I finished it. I was knitting them for a friend, and I had almost gotten the second one finished. I just had the toe to do, and I ran out of yarn. And oh my gosh, I really did cry over this one. This ball of yarn was like $20, maybe something like that, which isn't a whole lot, but when you're living on a budget, it wasn't feasible to go out and buy another ball of yarn or skein of yarn just to do the toe. So yeah, I didn't really want to do that. So I ended up keeping the socks in hibernation for the longest time, thinking, well, maybe I will buy the yarn at a later date and finish them. Whatever. They end up getting pulled out, and I had the yarn sitting in a bag, and I got the inspiration one day when I saw Hohi. I was watching Hohi's journal. She came out with her Indigo socks pattern, which is a sport weight or DK weight. Can't remember. I believe it's a sport weight sock pattern. And I was like, okay, this color is going to look beautiful. So I will show you what I'm talking about. So here is the sock. There's two of them, but I'll just show you the one. So this color, it's a little bit more richer. It's blowing out, obviously, because my camera loves doing that. But it is a beautiful tonal green color. And yes, this is Indigo Leaves by Hohi Locatelli. And there is two of them. So the yarn that I used for this project is Ancient Arts yarn, and there's their tag. It is an 80% superwash, fine superwash merino, and it is 20% nylon, 385 yards, and it is made in Canada, or hand-dyed in Canada. And the colorway, I love it, is Get Off My Lawn. Isn't that awesome? So there's, hold it the right way, Bobby. There's the tag. So it's a little beaten up because it's been around a while, but anyways, there's the socks. Really love this yarn. It's it is a fingering weight yarn, but it was more on the plumper side to me. So I thought that it would be perfect. So the only thing is I cut the socks short a bit. So I'm just going to take one of them off the blocker here because I want you guys to see that beautiful pattern. So there is the beautiful lace motif that goes up the front of the sock. So you have these two cables that run down either side, and then you have the leaf motif there. And that goes down all the front of the sock. So, yeah. There you go. And then it has a slip stitch heel. It has a heel turn and gusset. And then the toe, I just followed what Hohi had in her pattern. So I think it's a rounded toe, I'm not sure. So the only modification that I made to this pattern was you're supposed to do 3 lace repeats, I believe it is, for the leg of the sock, and I only did 2. So essentially I've kind of made them into shorty socks a little bit. And that was only because I wasn't 100% sure if I had enough yarn to do it. Just because the yarn had been sitting around so long, I wasn't sure is the full skein of yarn here. And because I already made 1 pair of socks and almost ran out of yarn, I didn't want the same thing to happen again. And quite honestly, looking back now at what yarn I do have left, I honestly could have done, I shortened the ribbing as well. I think I did half the amount of ribbing that was called for. But yeah, I could probably have done another lace repeat and maybe done the pattern exact. I'm not sure. But I didn't want to chance it. I already ran out of bad luck. I ran into bad luck the first time, so yeah, I guess I was afraid. I didn't want it to happen again, so oh well. They are perfect the way they are. I wanted some shorty socks anyways, so yeah. It is what it is. And they are beautiful. So those are the Indigo Leaf Socks by Locatelli. And just in case y'all don't know, which I'm sure you do, because if you don't watch Hohi's journal, you're really missing out. Just gonna hang these back up here. But Hohi has a new knit along that's starting September 1st, and until tomorrow, so today's the 30th, to the 31st of August, Hohi is going to have all her patterns at 25% off. So do head on over there, and if you would love one of her patterns, it is 25% off until the 31st of August, and then on the 1st of September, you can cast on any Hohi pattern and join in her knit along. I can't remember exactly how long it's going for. It might be a month or two. I can't quite remember now, but yes, that is super exciting. I love Hohi's patterns. They are so beautiful. I am currently knitting her big old coat. Fortunately, that can't be entered in, and I wish it could. I haven't done anything to it in the last month, but I would love to join into her knit along. I've never done it before, so I think what I'm going to do is purchase the washed out shawl. I've had that one of my favorites for a while, and I've really been wanting to cast that one on, so I think that's what I'm going to do. So I have 3 different sets of yarn, because it is a 3-color shawl. I have them set aside, so not 100% sure which one I'm going to use yet, but I just know that I want to knit this shawl, so yeah. Okay, let's move on. So we did that one. Okay, so the next one I had to share with you guys. I don't think I shared it all. This is a new cast on. So this is another one that I've had in my library for a while and been wanting to cast on, and I even bought the yarn back in the spring. I just never got around to it. So this is Copenhagen Cowl, which is by Isabell Kraemer, and it is actually a cowl. And I am going to try to back up here because I am sitting a little bit too close. But here it is. Isn't that pretty? So it starts off, it is knit in the round. It starts off with this beautiful ribbing, and then we have some stripes, and then it goes down into this beautiful colorwork section, which is actually, I believe you would call it fair isle knitting because it's done with like slip stitches. But you got that beautiful section, you got some more striping, and then my favorite part, although a pain, is the lace. Oh, isn't that beautiful, guys? Oh, I'm in love with that. It is so pretty, and it is such a beautiful cowl. I washed it and blocked it out yesterday, and oh my gosh, I am in love with it. I'm not 100% sure how to wear it yet, but it is just gorgeous. Absolutely love this thing. So yeah, again, I don't think this is something I could give away because it's just too pretty. So yeah, oh, I just love that section. It's so pretty. Anyways, I will take it off and I will learn how to wear it better. But yes, That is the most prettiest thing. And I will probably knit this again. It was not hard at all to do. The only problem I had with it, I'm worried most about this part here because this is technically my first real color work or Fair Isle work project. But it was actually the lace. It's not that hard, but I did have to rip it back like 3 times maybe. It was all on the first row because I decided that watching a movie was going to be okay while doing lace, and I messed it up. And then I fixed it, and then I decided, oh, I'm going to watch a podcast. And then I messed it up again. So it's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. But apparently to my brain, I can't be watching anything. I need 100% concentration on that. So go figure. So anyways, for the yarn, I am using Knit Picks. I never know if I'm pronouncing it right. Galio. It is their DK weight. So it is, okay, this gray color I believe is Argent. The tags did not come with me, unfortunately. So I believe this gray color is Argent. And I looked on Knit Picks website the other day, and they no longer have this color in their shop anymore. They do have a lighter gray, but this is more of a medium gray, as you can tell. That's pretty true to color. But I used 3 skeins of the gray, and then I used 2 skeins of the white. And this yarn here, I believe, is a superwash merino and bamboo blend, if I am not mistaken. It's definitely got bamboo in it, that much I remember. And it just gives it this beautiful, it's got like a silky feeling. I'm not sure if you can tell, like there's a sheen to it. But it makes it feel light and airy, and it's got beautiful drape on it. It's just beautiful. It's stunning. I really, really love this yarn and enjoy this yarn. Oops. Oh yeah, and I will show you. That's how my inside turned out. And I was super happy with my floats because that's something I am always so scared about. But I am happy with how they turned out. So yeah, happy with this. I love it. So I definitely will probably knit one of these again. Maybe this time I might try doing it in some rustic wools instead. I'm not sure yet, but yes, it is a DK weight shawl. For this shawl, I end up using 3.5 millimeter for the ribbing, and then I used a 4 millimeter to knit the rest of it. So totally recommend this cowl. It is super beautiful. Highly recommend it. Okay, so I have one more finished object, and then we can move on to works in progress. So let's get started. So this project here, I actually started this back in the spring, and I've never showed it on the podcast. I meant to a couple times, and then I forgot, or the podcast was running over, and it kind of just got put on my shelf and I forgot about it. So I have to get I had to get it done this week for sure, because it is a gift for somebody and she is going to be receiving it this weekend, so it needed to be done. So I would like you to meet Willow. I'm calling her Willow. I'm probably going to let the little girl decide what her name is though. But yeah, I'm calling her Willow for now. This pattern is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. It is from Mary Jane's Tearoom, which is Susan Hickson. She has some of the most beautiful doll patterns ever. I have been a fan of her for a very long time. I did do one of her bears a while ago, like a few years ago. It was really enjoyable. Only thing is that bear was done in pieces, and I really did not like that. But I was very happy to see that she came out with this pattern here, which is called Little Yarn Dolls. And she came out with this pattern here, and she's done in the round. So when I saw that, I was super excited and happy about that. So I bought the pattern, and it's a very enjoyable knit, guys. I highly recommend you check out Mary Jane's Tearoom, though, on Ravelry. She has the most beautiful, beautiful dolls. There's some bears, and there's the dolls here. She has some mice, and yeah, it's just beautiful. You need to check her out. But anyways, back to Willow here. So she is all knit in sport weight yarn. The pattern calls for DK weight yarn. But when it comes to dolls, in my opinion, or any amigurumi doll or animal, anything you create that way, I believe it all just comes down to what you want to knit with. So if you want to knit with fingering or worsted, you can knit with anything, and just Miss Rami and just coordinate your needle to it and follow the pattern. If you go smaller, you're going to get a smaller doll. If you use bigger weight yarn, you're going to get a bigger doll. So I never really follow what they say for yarn. I just do whatever I want. So, and Rami's like checking her out. One moment. Sorry about that, guys. My Rami stepped on my keyboard and turned the music on. Anyways, going back to this, can't remember where I was exactly, but yes, I end up using a sport weight yarn. For this project, I used a 3.5 millimeter needle to do it, and all the yarns are just brunette softy baby. Don't know what the colorway names are. So that was her skin tone. I wish I could have gotten more of a peachy color, but this is all my local Michaels had. So it's just like a pale cream color. Then her yellow skirt. And then the green here is for her hat and that. There's her little shoes. This is actually Knit Picks Brava. And I think it's something like sage or something. So, super cute. Love this pattern. You do have to block out the skirt though, because this gets like super wavy, but it's totally fine. I just love her. Her hair is also brunette softy baby as well. And then I just got some safety eyes. It is going to a 6-year-old girl, 7-year-old girl, so I thought it was okay that it had safety eyes. Then I embroidered some lashes and her little mouth. Put some buttons on for her shirt and her booties there. And yeah, I really, really love how she turned out. So, yeah. Really love this pattern, and I do highly recommend it. For the hat here, you do put a little bit of stuffing in just to give it. And yeah, really love her. So I highly recommend you check her out. Mary Jane's Tearoom out. Susan Hickson, love her patterns. Loved making this, especially that it's in the round. And she might even have some more that have recently come out that are in the round as well. I haven't been keeping up, but this one is definitely in the round, so yeah, love her. So I'm going to set her aside, and we are now going to move on into works in progress. We just hit the 34-minute mark, so we should still have lots of time here. So I have 4 works in progress, and all of them are new cast-ons. So I haven't really touched, I do have projects and bags that you guys have seen before, just haven't touched any of them. Like I said, this summer I've been wanting stuff that is somewhat mindless and not so complicated, so yeah, that's my excuse for casting on a bunch of new stuff. So the first thing I am going to share with you guys is in a bag that I made, and I definitely shared this with you guys. It is in my canvas bag I made, and I love this bag to death. Really, really do. So housed inside of it is a very, very exciting project, and I've been having so much fun with it. So I'm just going to set this aside. So last podcast, I believe it was, I shared with you guys, I casted on a new project, which was the column tee. And I cannot remember who it was by now. I want to say Isabell Kraemer, but I'm probably mistaken. So don't even quote me on that. But it was, the pattern was Column. It's a Column t-shirt. I casted that on with some Holst yarn. It is the merino cotton blend. And yeah, I did get like the shoulder shaping done. I had joined it in the round. And I do love the yarn. It's my first time working with it, but it is on the thin side. And with my gauge, I was definitely not getting gauge. It was turning out way too loose. I don't have a problem with the t-shirt being airy, because you can wear a camisole or a tank underneath it. It doesn't matter. But it was turning out way too holey, like way too airy. And I wasn't liking that at all. So I just decided that I was going to rip it out. I also did not have small enough needles to like change out for. I think my smallest needle is a 3.5, and I would have definitely had to go down a lot smaller, and I just don't have no circulars that are that size. So rather than going out and getting new tips for it, I considered my options, and I decided the t-shirt was for my friend Shelby. Hi Shelby. And I just decided, well, fall, winter is coming, and Shelby just loves cardigans. So rather than knitting the t-shirt, I would just set the yarn aside. Maybe it will become a column in the future, maybe for next summer, I don't know. But I just decided to knit Shelby a sweater, a cardigan instead. So that's what I'm doing. So I was watching, of course, my favorite podcast, the Cozy Up Knit Girls, and they have the Cozy Up Knits podcast, and they all have pretty much been doing the Harvest Cardigan by Tincanknits. So, of course, Bobby had to do that one as well. And Shelby wanted this one anyway, so that worked out perfectly. So again, I'm going to have to back up probably to show you guys. But this is what I have so far. So literally, I only have 2 more inches of the body left to do before I get to do the bottom band. And I am loving it so, so much. Oh, it is so pretty. So I'm just going to come back up closer. So the Harvest Cardigan is a worsted weight cardigan. It is worked top down. And the one thing that I love about it is that you're working the shawl collar, or I think it would be called a shawl collar, but you're working the collar all at the same time. And that it also includes like the band going down the sweater as well. So you're working that at the same time, so there's no need to go back and pick up the stitches and have to knit it. It's all done right there. So really, really love it. It is a super fun pattern. Raglan increases. I separated for the arms. I just have them on some waste yarn. And yeah, it's just plain stockinette, nothing fancy or anything like that. So yeah, 2 more inches of the body and I will have the body done, and then the bottom band is going to be in like the garter ridges. So I cannot wait. Then I get to pick up the sleeves and knit the sleeves. The cuff here also has the garter ridges as well. So yeah, it's been very, very fun to knit, and I'm happy at how fast it's going along. So yeah, I got my little dragonfly on here. So for this project, I am using one of my favorite acrylic yarns in the whole wide world, Lion Brand Heartland. And the colorway is 180 Kings Canyon. Come on, focus. Oh well, it's Kings Canyon. So yeah, it's just this beautiful foresty green color, and I absolutely love it. So for this project here, I am using a 4.5 millimeter. That's what I use to do the ribbing and like for the collar up here. And then for the rest of the body, I am using a 5 millimeter. These are my Knitter's Pride Zings. So yeah, I really love the gauge of it. The pattern calls for a 5 millimeter needle. However, a 5 millimeter needle to start at the collar, and then a 5.5 millimeter to knit the body. And I did start off with that, and I did not like it at all. It just was, my gauge was way off. I did not do a gauge swatch because Bobby does not follow the rules. But yeah, as soon as I started to knit the body, I could tell that it was going to be way too loose and I wouldn't like it. So I ripped it back and started again, and I really like, well, I'll show you the side. You can see me through it, but it's not that loose. It's just, it's created the perfect fabric to me. It's going to be a little bit airy, but it's still nice, warm, and cozy. And it's got this beautiful drape to it. So yeah, I love it anyways. So to start it off, I never mentioned this, you are starting up here at the collar. And I can't even tell where I started it, but you do a provisional cast on, and then you, yeah, I don't think I gave anything away by that, but there is a provisional cast on just in case that's something that you don't like to do. It's not something I really like to do, but I do it when I have to. So for my sweater here, I'm doing the medium to large size. I have 6 skeins altogether. The Heartland has, I think it's like 251 yards and a ball, and so far I've gotten 3 balls into this sweater. So yeah, I still got a significant amount here, so I'm possibly going to be able to get the rest of the body done in this. I don't know. And maybe 1 each for the sleeves. I'm not 100% sure, but I have lots of it anyway. But so far, 3 balls I've put into this. So it's not bad at all. So anyways, that's The Harvest by Tincanknits. Totally loving this thing, and yeah, Shelby really loves it too. She's seen it. So hopefully I can get it done for her soon. I do have a buttonhole here. There is one button that they, like the pattern picture shows, so I decided to include that in there. And yeah, so just one last look at it before I put it away. So yeah, there we go. Like I said, this project, it's definitely come in the car with me a lot, just because it's just stockinette, so it's so easy to do. It's so mindless, and yeah, it's definitely a fast knit, I think, because it's done in worsted weight yarn, so it's going along pretty quickly. And I'm going to say, I think I last podcasted 5 weeks ago, and I did not have that casted on 5 weeks ago. So literally maybe a month I've been working on this so far, and I'm happy with progress, because sweaters always turn out to be a little bit of a slog for me, because, you know, you're working on the same thing, it can become boring, but I've found so far with this sweater that is definitely not boring. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, there you go. That is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. Okay, I'm just pulling something out here. Alright, so the next work in progress I have to share with you guys is another new cast on. And this is another one that I have been really enjoying. I just casted this on a couple days ago, however. So, I was watching the Legacy Knit podcast, Susan and Chelsea, a mother-daughter team, and they are both currently doing the Golden Hour shawl by Andrea Mowry. So when I saw the shawl, I was blown away by it, really loved theirs, and I thought, okay, I've been wanting to cast a shawl on, and this one's perfect because it is knit in worsted weight yarn, so it's going to go along fairly quick. And I just happen to have 3 skeins of yarn that I thought would work together perfectly for this shawl. So I'm first going to start off by showing you the yarn, and then I'll show you the shawl. So it is a 3-color shawl, and I'm going to try to coordinate the ball bands here. Should be easy, I think. Just bear with me for one moment. Okay, I'm already getting mixed up here, but I think I got it. Okay, so this is color A. This is the first color I'm using. And this is all being knit in Patton's Classic wool, worsted. And I believe this color here is the natural mix one. It is the lighter brown color. So there's that one. Color number 2, or B, would be this one here, and it's Heath Heather, which is this beautiful taupey brown color. Now might have gotten these mixed up, but I'm pretty sure I got them right. So anyways, there's that one. And then color C, my 3rd color, is this light cream. And there it is there. So those are my 3 colors, and I've had these sitting around in my stash. I got them at my local Michael's. I saw the colors and I fell in love with them, and I was saving them to do perhaps a colorwork sweater. Not for myself. I want to start off with a baby one because colorwork is still new to me. But when I saw these 3, I knew I wanted the shawl, and I had these colors, so it adopted a new project. So anyways, those are my colors. So here is what I have done so far. It is a top-down triangle. So there's my first color. Then it comes into this garter eyelet section. And then it has some of color A and B. So you have that section. Some more garter eyelets. And then my favorite part, and I'm so proud of how it turned out, is this section here with the crosses or plus signs, however you wish to take them. I'm just gonna try to hold it in a way that you can see it better. I'm really not good at this, guys. I think I would have gotten used to this by now, but I haven't. Anyways, that is what I have done so far. And then it goes down into this section here where you got more of these little specks there. But this is a form of color work. It is, again, what I would call Fair Isle, just because it's done with slip stitches. And yeah, it's So pretty. I just love it. So this is what I have done of the shawl so far. And now I'm going to be adding in my third color for the next section. And the next section is going to incorporate some baubles. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, this is what I've actually gotten done in a couple days' work. And I haven't been working on it steadily either, so it's really nice. Really, really enjoy this. So for this project here, I am using 4.5 millimeter needles. These are my Knit Picks ones, the nickel plates. And yeah, it's a really, really nice project. It's not intimidating at all. Besides the Copenhagen Cowl, I am very new to color work, or Fair Isle for that matter. I started to do some color work mitts back in the winter, last winter. You guys might have seen them. I ended up pulling them out just because I thought they were turning out a little bit too big. But I've never really touched on color work before, so the cowl is my first, this is my second, and I would definitely say it's beginner friendly because I am a beginner when it comes to color work or Fair Isle, and it is not hard at all. So if you really love the look of this shawl, I would highly recommend it because it does knit up super fast, and I'm really enjoying that color work section. So it's a very beautiful shawl. So I don't think I said who it was by. It is the Golden Hour Shawl by Andrea Mowry, Raverly Knits. So do head on over to Ravelry and check it out. It is a paid-for pattern, but it is stunning. It is beautiful, so highly recommend it. Okay, so how are we doing for time? Okay, I have 2 more things to show you, and then we'll have to cut the video soon because it's getting that time. But this one is housed in one of my me-made project bags. Really love the teacups. And I had it lined inside. So anyways, this is another new cast on. This just got casted on the other night because I wanted to knit a hat and I wanted something simple. So this is the Beloved Hat. And I am not going to pronounce the designer's name like last time because I did do this hat before, just because I believe I would mess it up and I don't want to do that. So I will have it listed here. I always put the patterns there usually. So here it is. It is just a seed stitch hat, and it is, I believe, a free pattern on Ravelry. So I did some 1x1 rib, and then it comes up into this beautiful seed stitch. So I cast it on the biggest size in the pattern. It is knit with like a chunky yarn. This is a worsted yarn. The yarn I'm using is some Burnett satin, and it's in the sage colorway. So it's just an acrylic yarn. But I really like the Burnett satin now. When I first started to crochet, like 10 years ago, I really loved this yarn then. But now it feels so different. Like it doesn't have that plasticky feeling. It has this beautiful soft feeling. Like it's really, really improved a lot. So I highly recommend you check it out. And yeah, I really love it. It's not that green, of course, but how would I describe it? It's like a teal color, just it has more hints of green in it, if that makes sense. I'm not really good at describing color, but it ain't this bright green. It's just a very beautiful green color. Kind of like sage, in a way. A little bit brighter, but anyways. I just wanted to knit a basic hat. So this is more like a child's hat. It does fit on my head. I have a rather large head, but I think this will be for more like a child or young adult, somebody that has a smaller head than I do. So for this project, I am using 3.75 for the rib, 4 millimeters for the hat itself, and yeah, there's that one. And I will just put the stuff away before I lose it again. Okay, and then one last thing to share with you guys. And again, this is another new cast on. This one just got casted on this morning though. I was watching Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast, Jaclyn, who is known as Jaclyn Salem on Ravelry. And she just came out with a new sock pattern. And as soon as I saw it, I fell in love with it and I had to cast it on. So she came out with a new pattern called the Astor Socks pattern, which is named after the New York Public Library, if I got that correct. So she took some design elements from the library and she put it into a sock, and y'all, it is so beautiful. I just love it. So here is what I have so far. I will tell you about the yarn in a minute. So it's going to be a little hard to see. In person, it's not so hard to see, but it has a beautiful cable that goes down each side here. And then my favorite part is this beautiful pattern right here. It is just so pretty and so lovely. I just love it. Bring that in closer so maybe you guys can see it better. But yeah, it's just so pretty. Oh yeah, and it has a little bit of ribbing. It has 5 rib panels on the back here, and if I remember correctly, it's because the New York Public Library is on the 5th block, something like that. So she incorporated that into the sock as well. Very cool. I really love that. She used a more tonal yarn, perhaps a speckled yarn, to do hers, so you can see that patterning a lot better than mine. But this yarn here, it's been sitting in my stash for a year now. I got it last summer, and I've been really wanting to use it. Every time I open up my yarn drawer and I see it, it's just screaming out to me to be used. So I wanted to use it for a shawl. I'll just hold it up so you guys can admire it while I'm chit-chatting here. But I've been wanting to use it all this time, and originally I wanted to put it into a shawl because I wanted to display how beautiful it is. But every shawl, I've come across so many shawls, and I think, oh, that's going to look so pretty, but I can't see myself wearing this color, honestly. This is going out of my color zone. It's gorgeous, it's stunning, but I don't see myself wearing it. It's just not me. So I decided to put it in these socks. I've been really wanting to use the yarn and put it to use, so I think it's going to be perfect. So yeah, this is Long Dog Yarns. And this is her sock base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards, and the colorway is Popsicle Stand. So yeah, absolutely beautiful yarn. I got this at my local yarn store, Cricket Cove in Moncton, and yeah, like I said, it was just calling out to me. When I went in the store, they had several Long Dog yarns, and I wasn't familiar at the time with Long Dog, but this color was just screaming. Now on the camera, it's blowing out slightly. It's a little bit more richer in real life, but yeah, I just love it. It's stunning. So if you were to do this pattern, maybe you would use more of a less busy yarn, but I'm just loving it. I think it's going to be fine. It's going to work out just fine. So yeah. Anyways, there's the Astor socks. That again is by Jaclyn Salem. And if you do not know who she is, she has the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast here on Ravelry. And I definitely recommend that you check out her podcast because she has a wonderful podcast and she's a wonderful designer as well. She has done the clerk socks, and she did come out with she does have 3 sock patterns now, this one included. So yeah, she's got a couple of them out. Definitely recommend her. So yeah. So that's all there is for the knitting this week. And it's a lot. So I'm happy about that. I have one thing to share with you for stash enhancement. This past month I've been very good. Besides buying the sweater yarn for the harvest, I haven't bought any yarn. But I did receive something that was pre-ordered. So I think the last time I shared the podcast with you guys, I ended up getting an order from Lay Family Yarns. And I end up ordering one of her enamel pins at the same time, but it was on pre-order. Well, it came in the mail. So first I got this beautiful little card, and it says, "You are magic," with a unicorn. And what I really love about it is it's a magnet. So you can put it up on your fridge, and yeah, I love that. It's going to go up on my fridge now. And here is the enamel pin. Lay Family Yarns. I just love that. So, so beautiful. So, I haven't put this on my project bag. A, because I wanted to show you how pretty it is. I mean, that's just gorgeous. But also, I just dropped it. Also because I'm a little scared to put it on my project bag. I do not want to lose it. So I'm thinking what I might do is I just might either put it on my knitting shelf or on my desk here and just look at it for the time being. Or what I'm thinking I would like to do is create like a sewn fabric banner and put the enamel pins on it. So I really don't want to jump down that rabbit hole of enamel pins, but every once in a while I think I might, because yeah, they're just so pretty. But I don't think I want to put them on my bags. I think I would rather just have them as a beautiful background for you guys to see, and that way I know that they are safe, they're not going to get lost, and it'll just be beautiful wall art. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because I definitely don't want to lose it. So anyways, that was the only thing I got for stash enhancement. So we are currently a little over an hour here, so I think I'm gonna call it a day here and let you guys go until next time. So now that things are a little less hectic, I'm going to try to get the podcast back on regularly again. So maybe next week or in 2 weeks, I'm not sure yet, but I definitely want to get back to my regular recording schedule, which is usually on a Tuesday. This is a Thursday, but because it has been so long since I did one, I really wanted to get it out to you guys. So yeah, I'm going to try to get back on and back to my regular day so I can keep on schedule. But yeah, besides that, I hope you guys have been having an awesome summer. It has been seriously hot here in the Maritimes, as it has been everywhere else from what I've been hearing. So I hope you guys are definitely keeping cool. Today is an overcast day and it's cooler. Yesterday was really, really hot. Today is definitely a lot cooler, so it's nice. I'm not looking forward to fall and winter, however, because I hate the cold. But, oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, it's been a really nice summer besides moving. That's always a little stressful, but yeah. It's nice being back closer to town again, and yeah, It's nice. I'm enjoying it. So anyways, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Hopefully I will see you guys again next week or in the next 2 weeks at the latest. So until then, I hope you guys have a good one. Show notes will be listed down below in the description box, as well as all the social medias where you can find me and such. And yeah, until next time, I hope you guys have a good one. Bye!